This is an excerpt from a short story I wrote called Don't You Want to Go to Mars? Darrell has a migraine because someone made vanilla-flavored coffee. He didn't even take a sip. Just raising the cup to his mouth and inhaling the smell was enough. Still, he wants caffeine so badly he's almost tempted against all logic to chug it anyway. Instead, he leaves the teacher's lounge and hurries back to his office, head throbbing, where he'll ingest his caffeine in pill form. Massaging temples, poking pressure points, Darrell leans back and contemplates framed picture of wife and son, waits for his 4 o'clock to show. The picture was taken at Six Flags Over Texas up in Arlington 2 years ago. Aaliyah was about to ship out to Samara with the 4th Infantry, and her hair was cut close, almost bald. She joked about being nappy-headed. The hairdo accentuated Aaliyah's eyes, a pair of polished onyx orbs under brows arched in an A-frame of maternal wonder. The picture is also valued for the way it captures her mouth's tendency to go Mona Lisa, a sideways smile squeezing out the most delicate of cheek dimples. Tari, their son, then had the beginnings of what is now a full-blown afro. He calls it his space helmet. Darrell smiles in spite of the pain, which is like a dowling of hard wood creaking inside his head. He puts the pills back in his desk, ruefully noting the half-eaten dark chocolate bar. Like vanilla-flavored coffee, it is also a migraine trigger, but he can't stop hurting himself, it seems. He understands the need to push limits. It's the first thing he looks for in the middle school kids he counsels. Where do they detour from the logical straight and narrow? And here in central Texas, where you have to crack a book to see where the county lines are drawn and get a sense of enclosure, 360 degrees in every direction tells you that boundaries are for eggheads and not even worthy of abstraction. This afternoon, Darrell has already had 3 meetings. The first was with a divorced Latina whose 7th grade dyslexic daughter is being held back because her reading skills aren't even at the 1st grade level. The second, a white father expressing outrage that his son's 1.2 GPA got him booted off the football team. The last and probable precursor of the migraine were the imperious parents of a vicious, cyberbullying, blonde-haired, blue-eyed cheerleader. Next up, Lurleen, mother of tattooed and skin-headed Maddox Spivey, a miserable loner, the kind of kid you fear might one day show up at school wearing a black trench coat concealing automatic weapons and an enemies list. His father, Lanny Spivey, is doing 15 to 20 in Huntsville for armed robbery, a fact that has attracted a lot of unwanted peer attention. Darrell has met with Maddox twice before and now feels that bringing Mom into the mix might help. He looks at the name in his appointment book. Lurleen. No 2 ways about it. That is a classic redneck name. He internally amends that to hillbilly out of a sense of decorum, then changes it back to redneck. What the hell? It is a redneck name. Call it what it is. Doesn't mean she's a redneck, but forewarned is forearmed. He makes the vow of the oppressed to keep an open mind, lest the pot call the kettle, etc. As expected, there is a noticeable difference in Maddox's demeanor when he enters Darrell's office with his mother. How could there not be? Something humbling about having the person who used to wipe your butt standing next to you. Lurleen's eyes are amethyst lavender and her hair peroxide blonde. She's wearing a Hooters t-shirt like it was custom made for her. From the face, Darrell guesses her age to be early 30s, but the body is much younger. There's a hard Nordic beauty to her face that explodes when she smiles. Her teeth are big and white, as if bleach from the hair job seeped into her head. "Well," she says, after they all settle into their seats, "here we are." "Yes, how are you doing, Maddox?" Maddox shrugs and says, "K." The talk is of test scores and scuffles. Lurleen listens intently, occasionally stroking the back of Maddox's neck. He's got both elbows on his knees, head supported by hands underneath the jaw in an attitude of awkward fatigue. Not once does he make eye contact with his counselor. Lurleen's eyes, however, are locked tight onto Darrell's. She nods slowly to everything, as if afraid to break her gaze. "What do you think about all this, Maddox?" she says, her eyes still on Darrell. Maddox shrugs. "Why don't you give your mother and me a few minutes," says Darrell. Maddox seizes the opportunity to exit. Lurleen relaxes, smiles. She shifts her gaze to a novelty paperweight on Darrell's desk, an oversized Excerpt tablet. "Vitamin E," she says, referring to the large E carved into the top. "Excedrin," he smiles. "Oh," she puts it back. "You must get big headaches." "Got one now," he massages his temples. "I hope it's not—" No, nothing to do with Maddox. It's just been one of those days. I ate chocolate." "Chocolate?" "It's a migraine trigger." "Then why eat it?" "I like it," he chuckles, wincing as his heart rate quickens, aggravating the pounding. I'm the same way with cigarettes. I used to smoke, he says. A cigarette would be great right now. It actually helps. She pulls out a pack of Cools. Take one. No, I shouldn't. Come on, do something nice for yourself. Reluctantly, he takes the coffin nail and puts it in his shirt pocket. Thanks. No problem. She examines the Six Flags picture. Is this your wife? Yes, she's in Iraq. How long? 11 months. Shit. Yeah. Cute boy. That's Torian, Tory for short. He's got your good looks. Thanks, Mrs. Spivey. Lurleen, sorry. Durrell knows they should talk about Maddox, but he's curious about the home situation. What's going on with Mr. Spivey? Well, you know, Lanny's in Huntsville. Right. And he can rot there for all I care. Okay. That's not fair, I know. So you've got some hostility about it. That's understandable. Yeah. I think Maddox has some hostility, too. I know, she sighs. I'd like to try and redirect those emotions. Yeah. Durrell can see he's almost over her head with redirect. What I mean is, I think he needs an outlet for those feelings. Any interest in sports, music, things like that? I thought the problem was grades. Well, yes, but my philosophy is that certain activities prime the pump, improves the sense of self-worth, then the grades improve. His father used to take him hunting. Durrell smiles. Something without guns, preferably? She smiles back. Gotcha. What does he do after school? Video games. Durrell pictures Grand Theft Auto, decapitations, pistol whippings, rapes. Tell you what, he gets up. You think about it and let's meet again in a week. Great, I have to get to work anyway. Where do you work? She indicates her t-shirt as a manicured fingernail scrapes the E in Hooters. The nipple hardens visibly underneath. Gotcha, he says. Durrell politely pats his shirt pocket and adds, thanks. He smokes the Cool in his car, windows down, so as not to stink up the Saturn. It's the first time the cigarette lighter has ever been used. Lurleen Spivey. Durrell's not stupid. He knows when he's being hit on. She is of a type he's seen before. Extremely white married women who dig black guys on the side. And Lurleen is so white, she's almost transparent. Tawdry erotic scenarios play out before his eyes. He's only human. He's taken enough psychology courses to know what's going on here. Lurleen is angry with her redneck husband for landing himself in the hooscow, and she wants to do a little payback. What better way than to get it on with a brother? The inherent dangers in this situation are numerous and sobering, but they are also intriguing. He knows that in the hollow of night he'll have more time to sort complexities. For now, he's content to revel in the flattering sensation of being pursued. He tosses the butt out the window because the ashtray is full of coins. Durrell's migraine pain is manageable by the time he pulls up to Tori's school. The boy stands waiting behind the fence, backpack on. He runs to the car, climbs in, buckles up. Tori started riding up front just this year. When Aaliyah comes home, Tori will have to sit in back again. But for now, Durrell loves having the boy at his side where he can reach around and give him a hug whenever he pleases. I smell smoke, Tori wrinkles his nose. Did you finish your homework? No. You're supposed to do it before I get here, you know that. Sorry. Don't you want to go to Mars? Up until 2 months ago, Tori was a math prodigy. The slippage in performance has been dramatic, and Durrell just can't account for it. Ever since Tori was a toddler, Durrell has encouraged a love of numbers and science. The time is coming, and it's going to be soon, when we're going to send a man to Mars, he'd tell the child. No one could have predicted in 1959 that 10 years later we were going to conquer the moon, but we did. So I want you to be ready, son. Astronauts start out as pilots, and to be a pilot you have to excel at math. Those who are good at math will be first in line to explore the universe. Tori's first toy in the crib was an oversized calculator. He knew his multiplication tables up to 1,000 by the time he was 5. He was doing long division by age 6. When Tori's vision tested at 20/20, Durrell was ecstatic, for pilots are required to have perfect peepers. Now, at the age of 10, he's mastered algebra, and had just started calculus and trigonometry when the current apathy appeared out of nowhere. This story also has a companion song by the same name. Thanks.